right, you had an interesting quote that you said a while back. You said, while men and women can be equally talented in poker, they view the game differently. What did you mean by that?
Well, men and women learn differently. Men grow up with stats and, baseball, this and that and stuff like that. Women, we grow up to, our concept of learning is it's 50% off. I'm getting a bargain,
Right.
So the way in which we look at things are very different. But doesn't mean that we can't come to the same conclusion to whether it's a good deal or not, or to whether it's the right move or not. We just look at things differently, and we learn differently. Most women do.
I've heard a lot of women say they think women have better instincts. Do you think that's true?
I think women are better listeners. We are. Normally a woman is more interested in what somebody else has to say. We like to have conversations. We like to listen and feel and all that. And so that comes with instincts. But if you can't balance out the math skills and all that, instinct isn't any good. So, and if you're not interested, if a woman's not interested in something, then she's just not interested. So their instincts doesn't matter. If you're not interested, you're not going to learn.
What do you think the toughest part about being a woman in poker is?
The toughest part is just, I guess, getting men to respect you, and you really have to hold your head a little bit higher than everybody else, and you can't allow them to treat you in certain ways, and you can't act a certain way. If you act the floozy, they're going to treat you as a floozy. And, women that are like that in poker, they have a very short little bit in the game. The ones that have always consistently, made it on their own, they don't, then they seem to go far.
Right, so you don't use the sex appeal thing in poker?
No. Not at all.
All right. Well, we interviewed Christy Gazes a couple months back, and she was stressing the importance of female players supporting one another all the time in poker. She's really for that, and you seem to have the same mentality.
I've always had the same mentality, yes. Because, when I was first coming up in this poker world, where men, they back their friends. If it's a guy friend, let me back you, But women, when I first came in the game, women are very different. They're very catty, the women in poker were. And they're not going, they didn't, if you had success, they weren't happy for you.
Mad about it.
And they were mad about it. It was like, and they always had something bad to say. And so, I'm not competing with other women. I'm not competing with other men. When I'm at the table with you, I'm competing with you. Right. But if you go on, if you win a tournament next week and I'm already out, good for you. I think that's really great. I'd like to see women win. Christy and I became friends over the years, and, we're both very strong believers in that. And, now I'm friends with most of the women in poker, pretty good friends with most of the women that you would know in poker.
Right, and I know you said to me in an interview once about the ladies' event. You said you think the ladies' event's a great thing because it brings more women in so they can get comfortable at the table.
Right. Not that I haven't played many ladies' events, but I know one of the things that my mother, she started playing like 4 years ago, and she would just tell me how intimidated she was around men. Now, I never had that. I wasn't ever intimidated. I'd sit right down there, but she was intimidated. And so if a ladies' event makes them less intimidated, then we should support it. Right. Because, they're going to get experience that way. And eventually they will sit down at the table with the guys and play with them and not be intimidated. Because it just takes a little bit of experience, that's all.
Right. All right, let's see. Writing magazine columns. You've invested in poker-related businesses. You've taught poker schools. Why is it so important for you to get involved outside of the game? Inside poker, but beyond just playing.
Well, it gives you something else, I don't know. Like this year I'm on the committee for Harrah's, for the Players Committee. And I was asked last year, and I didn't think that I'd be able to do it, and I kind of regret that I didn't last year. I think that I could have, but I never do anything unless I can devote the time to it. Okay. So this year I did agree, Jeffrey Pollack asked me, and I said, yes, I'm going to do it this year. I'd like to see a lot of things, a lot of the players, not the big players, I'm talking about the regular players. Mm-hmm. That's who we do this all for, and I'd like to see some changes made for them. The fees are too high right now for the World Series events. We're going to lose players. The game's going to go away, and we're not going to have the cash game, you know, in a sense, you know, if they can't come out for the World Series, then the cash games aren't as good, and that hurts me. You know, it hurts everybody. So we have to show Harrah's how they can still make money, still market, and all that, and balance those fees out. The horse event this year, you know, there was a $2,000 fee on that. It didn't take more dealers. It didn't take more of a staff and things of that nature, but because the players could pay $50,000, the fee went up. So I'd like to see some changes like that.
Yeah, and I heard a lot of players saying, you know, they can't tip anymore, really, when you cash at a World Series event because the fees were too high.
Fees were very high, and that's unfortunate because there's some very good people that are working that floor, lots of great dealers that are. There are some dealers that are not quite as good, too. But there are some really good dealers, there's some really good floor people, and it is kind of sad because, you know, you could go through the World Series. I didn't this year, but you can go through the World Series, and, you know, you could lose $100,000 really easy.
Right. All right, Maxim photo shoot. Was that nerve-wracking at all? Scared? How did you feel that day?
I was very scared that day, and I'm not a model. I mean, I know I won Miss Teen McAllister, but I'm not a model. I wasn't very comfortable behind the camera, especially, you know, a big magazine like that. Professional. It was a completely professional shoot. We had, you know, about 4 makeup artists that worked on me, and hairdressers, and women that were there just to bronze my body to make me look tan. I mean, and then this very well-known photographer, and I guess the reason why he's so good is because he knew how to relax the women.
Right. So you were comfortable.
I wasn't at first. And he could tell. First couple of pictures, he was like, okay, you know, you need to loosen it up a little bit. So they got me a cocktail.
Yeah, and that worked?
It did. One cocktail, and I loosened up a little bit, but then he knew the right things to say, how to hold my head, how to, you know, so I felt comfortable with what I was doing because I knew that I was out of my element. But every woman in the world should have the opportunity to do a shoot for Maxim magazine because it was fun, and I felt so beautiful and wonderful, and they did such a nice job.
Yeah, they did.
And I wish that every woman could have that feeling that I had when I walked away from that shoot. Yeah. It was really nice.
All right, you said that when you joined Team Full Tilt, you were a little intimidated and nervous around the other players. Mm-hmm. You don't feel like that now, right? Mm-mm. Why did you feel like that?
I felt that I definitely wasn't up their level, their caliber at the time. I don't feel that way anymore, but it's not because of my recent win or anything. It's just that I now have the experience that they had. I didn't have the experience when I came on the team that they did, and so I just...
How long did it take for that to change?
A couple of years.
Really?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
All right, family and poker. Mm-hmm. How tough is that to balance?
For me, it's not really that tough because I have a very supportive system at home, family. So it is a balance, but I'm one of the lucky ones.
Right. Do you have any regrets about being away so much? I know you have to travel all the time.
Yeah, of course, I have lots of regrets. I mean, you know, but like I said, I have that good balance, and so when they fly to me, I fly home. I mean, we're back and forth. I've got 2 kids that have traveled the globe with me. And, you know, so.
All right. In 5 years, Clonie Gowen will be?
Clonie Gowen.
That's it?
Yeah. I mean, what's going to be different?
I don't know.
Maybe I have a few more bracelets. Maybe I have a little bit more money. That'll be tough. But, you know, I mean, I'll still be me.
All right. Thanks, Clonie.